Peace be with you. The people in power out here in the West, the controllers of capital, the controllers of the entertainment industry, the controllers of the platforms for mass dissemination of information, have been trying to get us to hate Islam and Muslims for decades now, for a very, very long time. At one point, every man should ask themselves why. They have been relatively successful because there are a lot of people who hate Islam and Muslims out here in the West, and yet they have never read a book, never read the Quran, for example, and they still hate it. They still think it's an evil book. In that instance, you have to ask yourself, why do I hate a book I've never read? All of us here are indoctrinated into something at one point in our life. We all are. That is inevitable. And these people who control all of these things, have been working very hard to indoctrinate us into hating a book that we have never read. And unfortunately, a lot of us out here in the West fell for it. I know I was one of them. But why? Why do they tell you to look for solutions to all things in life everywhere except one particular book? I'll tell you why. Because what the book commands you to do, or specifically forbids you from doing, passes control over your own life from them to you. When the Quran forbids you, when God in the Quran forbids you from taking usury, from participating in usury, from participating in an interest economy, the bankers suffer. When God forbids us from participating in zina, which means sexual immorality, adultery, and fornication, or all these sexual perversions, it is the entertainment industry that suffers. It is the pharmaceutical industry that suffers. When God forbids us from engaging in extramarital sex, it protects women. It doesn't leave them vulnerable anymore. They're not accessible anymore to perverts like, Epstein. When God tells us to respect our parents, that we can't say even as much as oof to them, it preserves the core family unit and allows the parents to raise their own children and give them good advice so they can spare them from hardships in life. When God forbids us from alcohol, intoxication, and gambling, from addiction, it harms the alcohol companies, it harms the drug companies, and it preserves our dignity. It doesn't make us easy to control. It is God that gives us freedom. And if we gain that freedom, the people that stand to lose, the bankers, the peddlers of smut, the entertainers, and all these other people that want to control your mind, they get to lose. So they do everything they can to get you to hate a book that you've never even read. They misrepresent it. They use people who don't follow it as an example of Islam, so you think that all of us are evil like that. And they will do anything to prevent you from reading first, and especially from following the book, because there will be no more smut, pornography, drugs, interest. The family values are going to be reinstated in this country. The women are going to be liberated from the oppression that they are experiencing now, from being used. And that is why you have to consider who is giving you advice and why. And you should consider both advices, the ones coming from the bankers and from the politicians and from the peddlers of smut and from the drug makers, and then consider the advice from God and see which one will free you and which one will enslave you. Peace be with you.